Mr. Bauer will exchange hugs and kisses later, I promise, but we don't do intros. 12 team Superflex PPR 1.75 for the tight end, start 10. We got Ricky Pearsall in the 105 or Lad McConkey. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, so Ricky Pearsall has been a player that I've been getting questions on a ton in our Patreon. And he's one of those guys where I kind of don't know what to do with him. He was obviously, I'm sure you remember last draft cycle, he was a hot talking point. I'm sure you were getting the same question, Pearsall or Xavier Legette, right?
Mhm.
Like that was the one that I was always getting. And I was team Xavier Legette, obviously Ted McMillan being there. I think it probably helps him more than it hurts him, to be honest with you. Much like a lot of these like Travis Hunter going to Jacksonville. But you asked me for a player. I said Ricky Pearsall, and I'll tell you what, you put a really good package together here. I think Pearsall has got all the talent in the world, and right now he has all the opportunity in the world. He's going to slot in next to Ayuk. Still have Kittle there. You got CMC said he's a full go. We'll see. But I'll be honest with you. I think this gets it done. If I have Lad McConkey and you come at me and you say, hey, man, I want Lad, I'm going to give you Pearsall in the 105, depending on what my team looks like. I think I don't want to say smash accept, but I'm definitely going to talk it over with some of my boys because depending on the league you're in, especially if it's a super flex, the 105 could get you a guy like Ted McMillan in a tight end premium. Is it too early to take Tyler Warren or, maybe if you're a Colston Loveland fan, personally, I think Tyler Warren's going to have more opportunity to get more targets faster. But I kind of like the trade. It might not. Do you think it's an overpay by any means?
You see, I don't necessarily think it's an overpay. When I asked you for a player and you brought up Pearsall, I was like, okay, because I had Lad McConkey in mind, and I wanted to make sure that the other player counted in the deal. And Pearsall definitely does. I guess he gets in the conversation here. The 105 is really the prize piece. Or I'm sorry, Lad McConkey is the prize piece, but Pearsall, it sounds like he at least matters in this trade for you. And you've been getting a lot of questions about him in your Patreon, so that says it right there. So there's some dynasty heat, there's some liquidity around him. I just don't know what to do with that room. It's kind of like the Bears. We'll talk about them later, I'm sure, at some point, but there are just so many different mouths to feed, so many pieces in that offense.
Yeah.
How is it going to shake out, basically? But I would not be spending this for Lad McConkey necessarily unless I have a lot of assets to work with. Otherwise, I'd look to sell Pearsall separately or do something else with the 105. Maybe move up. So those are just my thoughts.
I think there's always two ways to look at a trade too. One way you could say is I would take that trade, and the other way would be I would not offer that trade.
Hmm.
And I think in this case, I would accept the trade. If I had Lad and somebody wanted to do that, I would accept it, but I probably wouldn't offer it. I think I would probably start with somewhere like Lad McConkey in the 202 and see if I could start there and maybe work my way up, because I think we could say that dynasty value for the players alone, Lad and McConkey, I think McConkey's probably still higher. I don't have any ADP up in front of me, but I feel like you always have to add to a guy like Ricky Pearsall to get Lad. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So, and I don't know what to make of the 49ers wide receiver room either. We've seen that Shanahan system. It's productive for, it's been productive for wide receivers and running backs, whoever that running back is, maybe Jordan James. I don't know. Maybe he'll probably get a shot at some point, right? But I would accept the trade. I wouldn't offer it. Like I said, I'd start with like the 202, work my way up from there if I had to.
I guess the question is another player that's kind of tough to value. And I was just doing a roster review today. Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is people consider him to be kind of like meh. Like he doesn't have like tons of dynasty value, yet here he is. He's a pretty decent quarterback. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on him? Because he's obviously got the aforementioned weapons.
Well, yeah, he's a guy too. He's going to get paid soon. I'm trying to look up his contract. If Over the Cap would search for his name for me, would be great. There you are, Brock Purdy.
That would be helpful.
He all right. So his base salary this year is actually $5.3 million. I don't know how that happened, but he's going to get paid after the season, I would assume.
For sure.
Right. I don't know why people would hate Brock Purdy. He had that stellar rookie season, came out, real strong. And then people just kind of started to fade on him. What has he done wrong? He's gotten banged up here and there. What player hasn't? I'm an Eagles fan. Jalen Hurts gets banged up, comes back, he's fine. Guys miss time. I like Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy has been a buy for me the last 2 years because nobody wants the guy for some reason. Some people don't want the guy, not nobody, I should say. Sorry.
Not nobody. Here, let's get a baseline on you, dude. So, what type of dynasty player are you? So, are you an aggressive player? Are you a hey, take my first, I don't need these freaking things, or what?
I'm a frustrated dynasty player because I always at least respond to trade offers, right? It may not be right away. Sorry. My cell phone doesn't always get reception at work. Um, but I always respond. I get frustrated when people do not respond to trade offers. Um, but I try not to be too hyper aggressive because I feel like if you're too aggressive, it shows desperation. I shouldn't say desperation, but I feel like when you're too aggressive, people tend to try to take advantage of you, or you
Yeah, you
can't.
lose leverage.
Yeah, you can't get a deal done. So I'm also fine with extended trade talks. I mean, my co-host of the Dynasty Rewind, Nate Christian, horrible person to trade with. If you need a player that week, look at someone else in your league because it's going to take 2 to 3 weeks to get the ball really rolling. And somehow you always end up losing that trade. That's just how it works. But I try to be calm, cool, no big deal. So, but no, I do not want to give up my first round picks. I love first round draft picks.
You love your
Oh,
first.
one more thing about that too. People always mock me for having a lot of fourth and fifth round picks. That's that's money, man. You could
You
do
have
stuff
you
with
have
that.
fourth and fifth rounds in your rookie drafts?
Most of them are 4, but there are some fifth round drafts or 5
Are
round
you
drafts,
sure
sorry.
those players are real in the fifth round? Can you
So
confirm?
here's the thing. There's always that one guy that you're like, I want to stash this guy. I have room. But a lot of times what I try to do is package those picks up. Look who's on the clock, look whose roster's depleted, maybe have some guys that I can get for a fourth. Like last year, Trey Tucker from the Raiders was a guy who was throwing fourth set, getting some there. Can I get some of these bottom of the roster guys that you may need for a week or two in the season for a late round draft pick? Can I package up a bunch of picks and move up in the draft? So, these things, it's all currency. It all has value. So I like to have going into the draft as much stock as possible.
Yeah, fair enough. So the second question I always ask is, what's your favorite format? So you're doing a startup, you have the choice as to what the settings are going to be. What do you have it set up as, Mike?
Yeah, I typically, if I'm setting the league up, it'll be Superflex. I love Superflex. Um, it'll be start 2 running backs, start 2 wideouts, at least 2 flexes, obviously start 1 tight end. One of the flex you can start a tight end, one is just wide receiver running back. And then I prefer at least a half point tight end premium. Some people
Mhm.
don't like tight end premium. I usually put it to a league vote. I can play without it, but I do prefer tight end premium too. But I don't really do the crazy like vampire leagues. I don't like auctions. I'm terrible at auctions. So
Why are you terrible at auctions? I'll tell you why I'm terrible at auctions is because inevitably I've got some kind of thing that I have to do and I end up missing part of the auction.
So part of the problem for me is the reason I'm bad at auctions is because I do not have a job where I have a computer in front of me that I can monitor it. I build trucks for a living. I'm an electrician that wires big trucks. I turn a chassis into a plow truck, essentially. So
Oh yeah.
my phone doesn't always work in there. I can't be on my phone all day. So I just don't have the time to commit to learning the intricacies of an auction draft.
Yeah. I always in the auctions I'll buy two really good quarterbacks right off the bat when I'm there and present because I at least know that I have players to be able to sell. When I inevitably miss part of the auction, I've got like
Yeah,
a bunch of firsts that I could liquidate if need be. But anyway, let's keep on boogieing here, man.
let's do it.
Appreciate you joining. I'm gonna go to this question from the crowd. We have Blitz Rules 240 was the first in the house, or excuse me, our friend Alex was first in the house
What's
with
up,
his
Alex?
awesome dog. But so Blitz Rules 240 says he's got a 10-team, 1 QB start 8 PPR. So a very shallow format here. Penix, Mason, or I'm sorry, Penix at quarterback. Mason's his best running back. He does have Puka, Nico, BTJ. And then he has Kelsey, Kraft at tight ends. And then he throws in Pearsall at the end there too. Middle of the pack team says hammer running back in the draft. And this isn't until late August, or go best player available. It has the 202, 302, 303, 305. So again, we're looking at that format, very shallow. Problem is, I'll let you go ahead here, but the 202 as your first pick isn't going to be a good pick right off the bat there, because it's a single QB.
You're lucky if you get RJ Harvey, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Being that it's a 10-team league, maybe he falls there. There could be somebody that maybe takes Cam Ward in the first round, which, by the way, I have no problem taking a quarterback in the first round of a one quarterback rookie draft if he's the best player on the board. Did it with Trevor Lawrence a few years back. It's worked out pretty well for me. If the rest of my roster could stay healthy, it will work out really well. The fact of the matter is, you may be hammering running back because that could be the best player available. Like I said, RJ Harvey could be there. I'm assuming Caleb Johnson would be gone by then. What other running backs could be there? Let me bring this list up real quick.
Yeah, you'd be getting into the the Scatterbo range.
Scatterbo might be okay. I think Tyrone Tracy may not be able to hold Cam Scatterbo off for an entire season.
Right.
Yeah, the problem is there, you're going to have to take some flyers if you want to really hammer running back in the third round. You could look at a guy like Jordan James with your 305. I think he's going to get some run. Bashal Tootin would be a good stash.
Mm-hmm.
Quinshon Judkins, Omarion Hampton, Trayvon Henderson, these guys are going to be gone. If Trayvon Henderson would somehow make it to the second round, just because a lot of people did not like his landing spot, I think he's going to be okay up there in New England. He's going to be more of a detriment to Antonio Gibson than Ramondre Stevenson. But yeah, you might just want to go best player available. If you need to get running backs, you can move on from a guy like, let's see, maybe Travis Kelce's getting a little bit older. You have Tucker Kraft. So you can move Ricky Pearsall. You looks like you get Ladd McConkey in the 105. You could draft a running back there.
Right.
But you still have a good wide receiver core. So this is why we always tell people build around wide receivers, right?
Yes, exactly.
Because now your best running back is Jordan Mason, who's an RB2 on a team. You can use some of the ammunition that you have in the wide receiver room to get some startable running backs. And you know what? See if maybe you can. There's going to be some guys out there, maybe with the third round picks, you could package up and get a guy like Brian Robinson Jr. I think he's still going to be very startable this year, and then maybe move him after the season. Guys like that, I would look to try to acquire cheaply. But yeah, I'm curious to see how that draft shakes out, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, let's keep rolling here. We've got Philip J. Fry has
I love
you here for
that
us.
username. I was a huge Futurama fan.
So he says his question, it looks like, is how am I going to address the depth on this team? It's a low activity league with no rebuilders. And he says and he's got a trade at the top. Let me read the team first. So it's a 12-team Superflex PPR 2.0 for the tight end, start 10, the 6 point per passing touchdown. Looking very lovely here, this team. Lamar, Jaden Daniels at quarterback. It has Gibbs, Saquon, Kamara, Aaron Jones at running back, CeeDee Lamb, London, AJ Brown, Rashee Rice. And then at tight end has Kittle, Kelsey, Ingram, and Jonnu. Has 226 firsts and all futures. There you go, back-to-back champ. Congrats on that, first and foremost. The question is Rice and a late 26 first, or I'm sorry, Rice, a late 26 first, and a mid 26 first, or Neighbors. So obviously he would be acquiring Neighbors. He's giving up Rashee Rice and 226 first, mid and late.
That's a tough one because I have Malik Neighbors over Rashee Rice, but you're
Mhm.
also paying a lot. And one thing I try to always tell people is when you buy a receiver or running back, you're buying that quarterback too. So the one good thing about keeping Rashee Rice is you have Patrick Mahomes there, and he loved to feed Rashee Rice when Rashee Rice was healthy. With Malik Neighbors, you're buying some question marks here. You're buying Russell Wilson, the shell of Russell Wilson. Jameis Winston loves throwing to the other team, and you have a quarterback that hasn't played under center in about 3 years. So it's going to be interesting. I personally don't want to make this trade if I'm you. I'm sorry about your low activity league. I feel your pain, by the way, because a lot of my leagues are low activity. These are leagues with analysts in it. It's like, come on, guys, respond to your trade offer. What I will say is, I think in order to get activity going, you have to start with a very small trade, right? A no brainer, late round pick for
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
player.
nobody's getting, like, hosed or anything like that. It can just be a
Right.
boring, buy Aaron Jones for a third kinda thing.
You want to get another good way to get activity started in your league? Lose a trade.
Mm,
And I know that sounds weird, but you have a trade that's just a little bit lopsided, but it's something you are the back-to-back champ, so you have a little bit of a fording here. Lose a trade, people are going to be like, I could work with this guy, and that's when you strike. I don't know about you though. It's
I don't think I'm doing this one, although it
yeah,
sounds like isn't Rashi Rice his, like, hearing and all is in June, I believe. I guess we'll see what happens. I hear mixed things in terms of whether or not he may see any suspension in the middle of the season or not,
yeah.
or anything, period. I'm just wondering if there's some way to get really sneaky here and get a 27 first along with Neighbors. I think I'm about to get greedy with this offer that I'm gonna construct, but
I
I'm
think
looking
it
at
wouldn't
this
happen. I think if someone's giving up leak neighbors, they probably don't want to give up any
a
first.
first as
You
well.
you might be able to swing a second,
Well, I was gonna
possibly.
add a second. I was gonna add a second to the Rice side. So I'm giving Rice these two 26 firsts, and I'll give a 27 second, and I get Neighbors in the 27 first.
See, now I think we're talking. You give up that second to get a first back. I think that would be more doable. My question for you is what's worse, having a suspended Rasheed Rice or a player on the Giants? Yeah. Which one is worse?
Oh, they both sound so juicy.
But he's talking
So
about
appetizing.
he's talking about depth on his team. I mean, this is one hell of a team right here. And if it's a low activity league, you might just have to just set your lineup. You know what I mean? If no one else is doing anything, you got a team that looks like that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Lamar
I wonder if
Jackson and Jayden
anybody's
Daniels.
wonder if anybody's saying anything in the crowd about which side they would take. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would do here. I don't think I would give that up for Neighbors. I think I'd want more information around I don't like it because it's a 2 PPR for tight ends, and I know tight ends aren't relevant right now, but that's just increases the value of first round picks in general. So I don't really necessarily care if it's a mid or a late 26 first, and we can say that all day. We don't know. I'm not going to give up that much for Neighbors right now.
I
Those
do
two
want to respond
26
to what
first.
Davy Cakes is saying. I'm not bragging about having Trevor Lawrence in one quarterback league. All I was saying is that I took the best player available at the time, and he's been a consistent starter for me, so I haven't had to worry about my quarterback position. I could focus elsewhere. That's all.
Davy Cakes. Davy Cakes. Davy Cakes has been around for a long time. Definitely,
That's a
definitely an
great
OG
name, though.
commenter. Yeah, oh, for sure. For sure. Oh God, did this dude just brag for getting T-Law on a 1 QB? Should be like, yeah, you're damn right I did. So
I'm
good.
used to
So
the
good.
hate. I'm married. We're good.
Let's go to Sam here. This is a 10-team half PPR start nine. So a shallow format here has Caleb, Stafford, JJ McCarthy, and Bryce Young at quarterback. Has Chase Brown, Pacheco, Tracy, Warren, Najee, ETN at running back. Chase, Nico, Pickens, Hollywood at wide receiver. And then Njoku and Kraft at tight end. Has the 105, 305, 405. Traded a second and Kirk for Pickens the week he got hurt and just acquired Nico in a smash deal. Okay. Switching to Superflex in 3 years, hence the QBs. Moves. Feel like I could use a running back but going to hold off and see what the draft brings. Thinking about moving back if Ward isn't taken top 4. You have any thoughts around this? 10 teams, start 9, half PPR.
I love his quarterback room. Obviously, Stafford, when they switch over to Superflex, probably won't be a factor
Alive.
anymore. Yeah. Let's see. Chase Brown, Isaiah Pacheco, Tyrone Tracy. Yeah. Did he asked about running backs, right? Is that what the second part was? Sorry, that's the
Yeah, I
last.
feel like I could use a running back, but gonna hold off and see what the draft brings.
Yeah, I think for right now, it's a one quarterback league. Technically, I don't know what you're going to get at the 105 in a one quarterback league. I'm trying to bring up the draft, the one quarterback draft that I just did, but it's not wanting to bring it up for me here. Let's see if I can find it. That's not helpful.
No problem.
Yeah, I would see what's there. You might be able to get like Quinshon Judkins there. I also love that trade second and Kirk for Pickens. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a worthwhile trade. I mean, Christian Kirk is gonna put points on the board, but Pickens has, I guess, more lottery ticket appeal. It seems like a pretty cheap way of getting him. The fact that Kirk even counts in a 10 team start 9 half PPR says something right there.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know what you're going to get. Like I said, the running back room is the only thing that I think in a couple years that running back room may not be much for you because Chase Brown, they could draft somebody next year. Isaiah Pacheco was a 7th rounder, although the Chiefs do seem to like him. Tyrone Tracy, I think, got replaced by Cam Scatterbo. Jalen Warren, they just drafted Caleb
Caleb.
Johnson and Najee Harris. They just drafted Omarion Hampton. ETN might be okay for a little bit yet, possibly. I think he goes somewhere next year and is fine. Probably not what we ever wanted him to be, but will
Mhm.
at least be startable, maybe like an RB2 on your team, something like that, depending where he goes. So, yeah, I don't know.
Tough draft for this team.
It is.
Looking at the running back room, like lots of those rooms got hit in the draft, and I mean it happens every year. Running backs get drafted, but you
All right, so
said
I
go ahead.
pulled up real quick the one quarterback league that I just did. So the 104, the draft went like this: Ashton Genty, Omarion Hampton, Tet McMillan, Travion Henderson, and Travis Hunter at the 105.
Hmm.
So they took RJ Harvey at the 106. Then Quinshon Judkins fell to the 107. Caleb Johnson at the 109. Cam Scatterbo at the 2-2. So you might be able to get, I mean, I don't know how you feel about RJ Harvey. Thought it was the draft capital
And
was a little, yeah, I thought the draft capital was a little high. I don't hate him, but just felt
the
off.
market likes him. The market likes him, and he landed in a perfect situation.
Yeah.
So
So if you could
makes
get like a
sense.
Henderson or Quinshon Judkins there, I wouldn't hate that. I would lean Judkins slightly. I think he's going to have a clear path to more carries, more targets out of the backfield.
It's kind of interesting because I've done like we were talking beforehand. I don't know how many rookie drafts have gone through, maybe 5, 6, something like that. And Judkins and Travion flipped. They flopped. So Judkins was going earlier in the first couple, and then Travion started going ahead of Judkins since then. I guess it's because it seems like there was news that I guess Henderson is kind of the dude, and that Ramondre is not going to be the lead back. Maybe you can fact check that. I don't necessarily believe that
I
right
mean,
now, considering he's not even in the building yet, or just now in the building.
well, Travion Henderson, very good ball security. We know Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson had some fumbling issues last year. It's always a good possibility. I mean, Ramondre Stevenson was not Mike Vrabel's guy. Travion Henderson is. So there's a very good possibility. I mean, Ramondre Stevenson's still going to be there. He just signed a contract extension, I believe, last season. So it's going to be interesting to see how it shakes down. I'm curious about that one, but he could be. I don't think it'll be right away. If he is, that might take like a month ish. So
Yeah, I like Travion Henderson. I like
I
him a
like them
lot.
both. Travion Henderson is a fantastic receiving back too.
Mhm.
I thought sometimes
Yeah.
just watching the film and him, thought the way that Ohio State used him, they had him running up the gut a lot too. I'm like, what are you doing with this? Not Travion Henderson's game. I thought he would have been perfect in San Francisco if a guy like Christian
Mm.
McCaffrey wasn't there. So, but it'll be interesting to see how New England uses him.
Both are in good shape. Obviously, Judkins is going to get the ball a lot,
And they're
along
going
with
to
like
have to run
Caleb
the ball.
Johnson and all. Yeah, yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Browns are definitely going to have to run the ball. This is
Yeah.
correct. Okay, so let's move on to Sean here. This is a 10-team Superflex start 10 PPR. Says traded the 102 and Monty for Bijan. You have any problems with that? I mean, because let's assume it's Genty goes 101, and then you're talking about Hampton and Monty for Bijan. Are you giving up Hampton and Monty for Bijan?
That's David Montgomery, right? Just so I
Yeah.
know. Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with that. You know what Bijan Robinson's role is. Najee Harris is there for at least a year in Los Angeles, and I'm not saying that he's going to make Omarion Hampton irrelevant, but he's good enough to limit his touches. And I think the sky's the limit for Bijan Robinson. I had him graded higher as a prospect than Omarion Hampton, so I'm fine with that deal.
Me as well. Then he says he traded the 106, and that was Ward, for Ricky Pearsall and the 110, which turned out to be Caleb Johnson. So
I'm
traded
going to
Cam Ward for
assume
Pearsall and Caleb Johnson.
this is a one quarterback league.
It's a super flex.
Is it super
I
flex?
know
Okay.
Ward fell to 106 at a super flex. I
Yeah,
know.
when you see Ward at the 106, you would
Right, right.
yeah. I don't hate it. I'm also assuming that if he's making this trade, he's good at the quarterback position, or maybe you
Yeah.
just didn't like any of the quarterbacks that came out this year, which is fine. So I'm fine with that trade.
And traded the 209 Loveland for Godwin. 209 ended up being Loveland, I guess,
Okay.
for Godwin. He didn't say anything about a tight end premium.
It
That's
can't be if
fine.
it's at the 209, right?
Yeah, no way. Team is now Hertz, Kyler, May. So yes, did not need Ward, to reference your earlier comment there.
Okay.
Bijan, Gibbs, CMC, Swift, Caleb. Yeah, this is a good team naturally, as you can see.
And you know what? I'm okay with trading the 209 for Chris Godwin, even with them drafting Emeka Egbuka, or if it's Emeka, I'm not sure. I'm not good at pronouncing names. I like that. I think Godwin's going to be fine. And, they could move on from Mike Evans after this year. I don't know if they will. I think he wants to retire a buck, but he is 32. Business is business. So I think it's a great trade.
Indeed.
I
Let's
like that roster too, by the way. That's a great team.
yeah, it's a good looking roster, and you can tell that Sean's very, very active. So that's how you acquire a squad like that. Or I guess in theory you could totally jack it up with activity as well. But
Yeah.
Dax S says Tuesday stream. Yes, sir. It's good to see you, Dax. We have a comment from him, says traded Puka for the 103 and 111 to draft Hampton on the clock. Ended up with Tyler Warren as well. This is a deep format here. 14 team, super flex, half PPR, full PPR for tight ends, start 11. Also left the draft with Buka and Burden. How'd I do? My other wide receivers are CD, Chase, Nico, Hill, and Cup. Well, I like some of those. But traded the 103 and 111 for a Marion Hampton. What do you think?
And you still got Tyler Warren?
And ended up with Tyler Warren as well.
I don't hate it, to be honest with you. I hate trading Puka away, but you got a guy who I think in next year is going to be a stud running back, and you got Tyler Warren and Emeka Egbuka. And I know people hated Luther Burden's landing spot, but I get it. There's a lot of mouths to feed there in Chicago. Going to be interesting to see how it works out. Nice draft.
Yeah, and that trade is great. Ended up turning out well. You got proper value for Puka there.
Yeah.
What are your so I talked earlier on when we were just getting started about the Bears, and Luther Burden on the clock was a decision a bunch of times, or at least more than one time during my rookie drafts. I like him. I like how he could be kind of, I don't want to say gadgety, but kind of gadgety in that offense. But there are so many mouths to feed with Roma Dunze, freaking DJ Moore. Like they just got Loveland too. You got Burden, Swift is going to want the rock at some point as well. I mean, what are your
Biggest
thoughts
winner from the
on?
draft is DeAndre Swift, by the way.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, we thought the Bears were gonna draft a running back, and they didn't.
Oh
So,
yeah, they were linked to a running back the entire freaking time.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing that I could say is, do you remember a few years ago when, and obviously different circumstances, but we could just see that it was doable. Do you remember when Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd were all pretty relevant? In a
Yep.
few years, we could be seeing something similar here. We got Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, and Luther Burden. Obviously, the tight end situation is a little bit convoluted. Let's not forget it's May. There's always the possibility that they move on from some of these guys. Maybe Cole Kmet goes, nah, man, screw that. I'm not playing second fiddle to this guy, right? He asked for a trade. I don't know. I know he signed a contract extension too. And it's not ideal, obviously. Same thing with guys like, looking at this team that you still have up there, Egbuka. We didn't want him to go to Tampa Bay. Yeah, but sometimes these guys get drafted into less than ideal situations and things less than ideal for us as fantasy players. Don't forget, we have to conform what we do around what the NFL does. It's not the other way around.
Right.
So it may take a little bit, but it's always possible. It just, you might need time to let it shake out. That's all. But I like what the Bears are doing. And the fact is, the more playmakers they have on offense, the more that they could feed somebody because somebody's going to be open. The problem is it's hard for us to predict on a weekly basis who's going to do what. Fantasy players, fantasy evaluators hate that. You just got
Yes.
to pay attention every week. And it's going to suck because as dynasty players, we don't want to worry about matchups every week, right? You want to build a team that you could roll out your best lineup and just win.
Hmm.
Fortunately, in the season, you're going to have to look at matchups a little bit more when it comes to teams like this. So just be prepared for that. But I thought the Bears had a fantastic draft.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an exciting offense. Let's stick with talking about the Bears though, because I've got an inbox offer that I saved for this stream. And I told the league mate, like, hey, I wanted to bring this up with Mike on the stream because we'll see what you think. I don't want to lead the witness. Here, I'm gonna pull up a banner. So this is the format. So it's the Juggernauts League. Shout out to anybody who's in the Juggernauts League who's listening to this. It's a 12-team Superflex tiered PPR. It is a 0.2 point per carry, start 11. Okay, so this is my team. It was absolute garbage. As you can see, I had a lot of picks in this draft, and here's what I'm working with. And then I've got the inbox offer. So currently, I've got Jaden Daniels and Cam Ward. I've got Genty, Swift, Travion Henderson. I added in Jonathan Brooks and Ollie. Wide receivers, Neighbors, Nico, Burden, and Iomenor. Have Warren and Loveland at tight end and 226 firsts. One is mine and one is going to be late, likely. A couple 26 seconds and my 27 first. And with the tiered PPR,
In a couple of years.
who is?
That team is going to be nasty in a couple of years.
Yeah, let's make sure I don't jack it up. So yeah, the tiered PPR, it is 2.0 for the tight ends too. So that's why I did some double dipping.
So is it, how do you do that then? What's your tiering on that? Just out of curiosity. Like you said, 2 for the tight
yeah.
ends.
So it's full PPR for running backs. It is 1.25 for wide receivers and 2.0 for tight ends in this format.
I like
And
that. That's good.
then and then the running backs and quarterbacks get an extra 0.2 for each carry. So the inbox offer is I give Genty and I get Rome and Tet.
I think with your PPR and your point per carry, I'd probably rather keep Genty. I do think he's going to get such a massive workload. And especially when you're talking about not knowing the target share in Chicago, what it's going to be like. And, with Tet McMillan, I love Tet McMillan. I think he's in a great spot, but you're also buying Bryce Young partially. I'm at the point where if I'm drafting Ashton Genty, I don't really want to move on from him right away.
And
I'm keeping
I have
Genty.
Swift and Burden already. And Loveland, excuse me. I mean, how
Yeah.
many Bears can you throw on one squad?
And
I
you
feel
know as
like I
well as
would have to. Yeah, go ahead.
if you have too many players from one team, there's going to be a week or weeks that just get absolutely ruined by having too many players from one team. So, but even regardless, I want to keep Genty there.
Yeah, that's kind of what I told my league mate too. Is yeah, I wanted to bring it up. My question, I feel like it makes sense for my team. I do like Tet and the fact that he's going to be walking into a million targets,
Oh yeah.
right? He's going to walk into so many targets, so that's cool. Got that going for him. But it was the Roma Dunze part of it that had me thrown off because is he just a name? Because I mean, what percent target share could you possibly get in that offense? Even though I want pieces of that offense, so that's why it
It's going to be
wasn't.
tough.
What
Yeah.
else would you need? What else would you need on top? I'm giving Genty, getting Rome and Tet as it stands right now.
I think the first thing I would do is maybe ask Adunze to get swapped out for a different receiver that's not on the Bears if we're just looking at your team, because like you said, you don't want to overload. But I don't know. See, I'm having a really hard time evaluating what Ashton Genty's value is because he's been the clear-cut 101 since what? December, November? Somewhere
Minute.
around there, right? So you have to figure out what's gonna give you the 101 next year. I don't know if Roman Tet is that. You know what I mean? So,
With the PPC, he's just such a monster in this format.
I mean, look at Pete Carroll's their head coach. They bring in Geno Smith. Yeah, we're talking this guy could rip off 300 carries in his first year. What are they going to do? Take him off the field for Zamir White? Like, I mean, Raheem Mostert's there, but he's just depth at this point in his career. I don't know. I don't know what could get that done. I just want to keep Genty. This might be one of those things where do you ever have a player where it's just you tell people, I'm not trading this player. Just not doing it. I think for right now, Ashton Genty is that guy.
Yeah, it seems like Genty's that guy, and Jaden Daniels is that guy for lots of people. Brock Bowers, yeah, Genty. That's one thing that the league mate said as well. He's like, I just want one Genty share. It's like he didn't get a share of him this year, and he's like wondering if he's ever going to be able to get one. I think
Dude,
is
this
part of
is
it. So.
the only fantasy season in my life where I'm so upset that I don't have a 101 anywhere that I earned.
Hmm.
Because I want one Ashton Genty share too, and it's not going to happen. And I'm really bummed about it.
It's okay, man. You can.
I'll live.
You'll survive. We'll
I'm going to
survive this.
start a league just so I could draft him in a startup. I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that. I can't do any more
Yeah,
leagues. I'm tapped out.
that's some DGen status right there. Good stuff. Well, all right, Jake. I don't think I'm gonna be. Yeah, everybody is saying Genty all day
Sorry,
long.
Jake.
Yeah, Genty all day. Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was a little bit closer, but yeah. There's good. I don't think it's gonna happen either. Look at Nate List. Gotta love Nate List. Says, what in the French toast is going on in here? What's up, Nate? Good to see you, man.
Just hanging out, man.
Just hanging out. What in the French toast? Have you ever heard anybody say that?
No.
No, I haven't either. I'm definitely going to be saying it myself a lot moving forward.
I do like it,
I'll
though.
probably forget. Let's keep rolling here. Let's go to what do we got? We got Kendrick Elliott. Okay. This one's interesting. What's up, guys? Why don't people like Cam Ward? Is it just lack of hype, lack of a clear elite trait? Go ahead, man. You watch tape. You're a film junkie.
I do. And Cam Ward has been my quarterback one since pretty early in the process. And Kendrick, I wish I really knew how to answer this question. I don't think it's people that necessarily dislike Cam Ward. I think depending on where you were watching the draft, the Shador Sanders hype was just so over the top and so all consuming that it kind of made Cam Ward over almost an asterisk on the draft. I mean, great arm, cool in the pocket, accurate, not the best runner,
But
but that's
mobile
okay.
enough.
Mobile enough. There are times where I think the one thing that'll get him into trouble in the NFL is, he knew that he had a big arm. He would hold on to the ball a little bit too long at times, and their line would hold up long enough where he could do that. That's obviously not going to happen in the NFL. So there are just a few things that'll have to be coached out, but Does he have any elite traits? No, not necessarily. But we've seen non-elite players win the Super Bowl. When Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl, he was not considered an elite quarterback. Let's not forget he worked at that to become who he is. Patrick Mahomes was an afterthought his first year in the league. Alex Smith was there. Patrick Mahomes didn't get a lot of hype coming out of college. Now, I'm obviously not sitting here saying Cam Ward is going to be Mahomes or Brady or anything like that. But I think it was just people were so hyper focused on Shedeur Sanders. I don't know. Did you watch ESPN or the NFL Network when you watched the draft?
It was brutal. It was
Yeah,
brutal watching it, honestly, man.
it was like, there's like hundreds of other players getting drafted
Yeah.
here. But yeah, and I think part of it too might be the fact that he plays for the Titans now.
Mhm.
People seem to have a detriment to the Titans. I get it. They trade away AJ Brown. They're like, oh, we'll just draft Treylon Burks. 1-for-1, not quite. Their running game is a little questionable. Pollard, older, Tajay Spears with all the knee issues. So, their wide receiver room is, I'm not even sure. I know they drafted some wideouts, right? Didn't they draft Pat Bryant, or did he go to? Sorry, I
The
know I should know
the
this.
Ao Minor guy or whatever, I can't pronounce his name. He was taken there, right?
Yeah. Also,
Um,
they got Calvin Ridley, Van Jefferson, and Tyler Lockett. So honestly, not like the best starting trio. But Elick Ao Manor, they have Treylon Burks. And then there's just like a lot of question marks. Xavier Restrepo, who's very productive at Miami. He was a UDFA. Yeah. So it's just like it's not an exciting offense. And he's probably not going to be good year one. If he has a bad year one, buy him next offseason.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he was just completely, I guess, looked over because of the Shedeur Sanders action of it,
Yeah.
and because Cam Ward isn't a flashy personality. Like
No.
he's not like a charismatic guy at all. He's just like business, stone faced, or at least like he was in the zone. He was in the zone, and that's how he is when he plays too. But he's not a charismatic, like on camera kind of guy. So he's not gonna get the TV hype as well.
What a lot of the viewers are saying here is, no elite traits. I don't disagree with that. I think this is a guy that you could plug in and in a year or two is going to be a super solid quarterback too on your roster. If
Is
you
he
have
gonna
an
be
elite
like a
quarterback
Purdy?
pairing up.
Is he gonna be like a Purdy type? I
Wow.
mean,
I think
or
he's a
or
better arm
hopefully
than
a
Brock
little better
Purdy.
than that.
Yeah, I think he could be a little bit better than Brock Purdy, but Brock Purdy, I think we could all agree has better weapons around him than Cam Ward does. So you know
Mm.
what? The Titans, they confuse me. I still don't understand why they fired Mike Vrabel. If there's any Titans fans out there that could tell me why, I'd love to know. So
Let's go to another one here from Omo. How would you say this, Mike?
I wouldn't, because I'm just gonna mess it up.
What is
Um,
that? What is that avatar? What the hell is that thing? Can
it
you
looks like
tell? It's from Moe.
Chewbacca drinking something.
I don't know, Amoe. If you could explain yourself, I'd appreciate that. Go ahead and put that in the comments. But he has a question for us in the meantime. I traded the 112, 201, and 202 for the 104 in a 12-team Superflex, no tight end premium start. Did I overpay? It's the question. 112, 201, 202 for the 104.
It may feel like an overpay, but if you want to if you're going from the last pick in the first round to the first part of the first round, this is probably what you have to pay to get it.
Yeah,
Realistic.
yeah, I don't think it's. I mean, it's a nice. I can see why the other team would want to do it as well. I'm not sure what the purpose was or what each team was trying to do. Like what you're trying to move up to get at the 104, because the 112, 201, 202. That's where I'm just going smashy poo on the draft button on on a couple of running backs like the Harvey, Caleb range, and then I'm trying to think what wide receivers are. Well, that's kind of like burden. That's kind of burden land.
Burden, Trey Harris, maybe you draft
There,
Jackson Dart.
Warren can be sitting there. It's not a tight end premium. Yeah, it could be Dart in that range. So it's a matter of what you're trying to get. But I wouldn't sweat it. It's not a gigantic overpay. It's just maybe next time just try to get a third thrown in. Get a
Yeah.
third thrown in on your side that at least could buy you like a spot start running back during the
I do
season
wanna know
or
2 things from this person, though. How do
yeah.
you say your name, and what are you planning on drafting at the 104? That's what I wanna know.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And what's
what's
up with the
the
effort?
avatar thing?
So I wanna know 3 things, sorry.
You have some follow-up to do.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep rolling here. Let's go to gosh, I got myself all mixed up doing my scroll action. Here we got the cold and brew. How do you feel about two tight end? What do you think about two tight end formats?
Love it.
You do?
Yeah, I'm a huge so one of the things is, for whatever reason, people seem to hate the tight end in fantasy football at times. So I always went tight end heavy because I'm like, look, if people devalue this position, if this is one place that I can get a leg up on my competition by having, absurdly good tight ends on my roster, I'm going to go ahead and do it. There's a lot of times where I'd rather flex a tight end in case of a injury or bye week than try to just grab a wide receiver 3 off the waiver wire. Like, I'll give you an example. Zach Ertz last year, bought him cheaply before the season. He helped me
Yes.
win a championship.
Play 'em every single week.
And I ended up doing that because, one of my other starting tight ends got hurt. I think it was Kelsey, I had Hawkinson, and I had Zach Ertz. So to start the season, well, Hawkinson obviously wasn't playing, but I ended up towards the end of the season, I was playing Kelsey, Hawk, and then there were times where I was putting Ertz right into a flex spot over,
Mhm.
injured guys, bye weeks, and stuff like that. And it worked out well for me. So I love two tight end, and you should always have good tight ends on your roster too. A lot of people just they stream it, they just devalue it. But I do love two tight end. I have no problem with it at all.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it either. It can get very tricky. It can get very, very tricky,
Oh,
especially when it comes to the depth on your roster. It's like, do I drop this tight end who sees the field like a Noah Gray type or something? There's really tough decisions with your roster management when it comes to two tight ends
it's
because
hard.
yeah, that's my biggest thing with it. So do I love it? No. But do I hate it? No. I'm fine with it. I wouldn't set up a league two tight ends right off the rip, but I prefer just having tight end premium. I'm starting two tight ends in most of my rosters anyway because it's
Me
tight
too.
end premium format.
But it's nice to know if you don't have to.
Yes.
That
Yes.
is
It's a
always a good thing.
big freaking difference.
Like you said, I probably wouldn't set up a two tight end league, but I probably wouldn't say no to one either,
Right.
if that makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah. That's not going to keep me from joining one.
Yeah.
Let's say that. Let's see here. Let's go to Ethan 22. This is a 12-team Superflex PPR, no tight end premium, start 9. We have May, Herbert, Love at quarterback. That's a nice room. Hampton, Achan at running back, Neighbors, Marv, Rome, Hunter, Reed, Ricky Pearsall, and then Loveland at tight end. Should I go all in with this team and move my first to compete? What do you think?
Well, I think I'd like to know where the first is. It's a good team. Got
This is a playoff team. I
oh,
mean,
easily.
likely.
Yeah, I would think so. Obviously, May going into a second year, there's some question marks, new coaching staff coming in, but we know Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, they're going to put up numbers. Omar and Hampton, Achan, it's a decent running back room, but there's question marks there too, right? Because Achan used to split a lot of time. Hampton, we don't know what he's going to do. Neighbors, question marks with the Giants. Marvin Harrison Jr. People were really down on him after the season because he didn't have like 1,300 yards. He still had 800 some yards. It's like, freaking relax.
Yes.
And then Hunter Reed, Pearsall Loveland. I think it's a playoff team. I don't know if I'm ready to make the commit to dumping that first right now to compete. Not right now. I think you should see how your season starts to go first. You know,
I agree. I
it's
agree.
May.
What
You don't want to dump everything right now because you might need that stuff later. Sorry.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, you could get another one by doing making some moves with that quarterback room. You don't need all three of them. You could do some move where you extract a first, and you can put them all on the block and do some move. In the review earlier, like Justin Fields is a player who, if it's a team like this, if it's a shallow league, you have three quarterbacks, you could make a move to where you move from like Jordan Love, let's say, down to Justin Fields and get a first on top. I don't even want to necessarily use Fields as an example. You've got room to be able to move a quarterback and get a first in return, and you can get some kind of plug in player like Justin Fields thrown in. It could even be like a Russ Wilson who may lose his job to Dart, but you've got some extra equity there. You don't need to have all three of them.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I don't understand the hate for Justin Fields when he was playing last year. Everybody was loving him. It's like maybe he'll turn the Giants around, but we've heard that one before too. Or I'm sorry, the Jets.
The Jets,
Jets,
yeah.
Giants, terrible teams that play in a terrible stadium. Sorry, I was at MetLife a couple years ago. Not recommended.
Yeah, in the review, I'm trying to think of this other team. He had four quarterbacks. He had Purdy, Herbert, JJ McCarthy, and Bo Nix. And we were constructing a deal where he moved down to get Justin Fields and the 102 as part of the package. And it was a 10-teamer. It was like the perfect situation. It's like, this is where I want like some Justin Fields, because yeah, he could be fucking dust, like go to like zero burger, or he could be a top five quarterback. Like we've seen it. So
Yeah.
this could be one of those teams where you try to get a little cute. You can get an extra first, and then if you want to go all in, you've got two firsts to mess with. So I don't know, just some thoughts there.
No, I
Okay.
like it.
So Dynasty Dumpster Fire said, I thought Dynasty Trades in 5 was dead. Good to see you all. No, Dynasty Trades in 5 is not dead, but definitely on a rebuild because of myself. But we're working back through it. Appreciate all the patience on everybody's ends. We'll get back into a normal cadence, worse word in the dictionary here at some point. But yeah, trying to get the channel back on track, because it is fun. It is fun being on here, and I miss making the videos. I miss the content creation aspect of it big time. So bear with me. Definitely went through some serious personal shit. Still going through it. Yeah, shit is awful, but we're getting there. Okay, let's go to da, 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 da. Let's move to, I haven't seen this. Oh, we'll go to Jeff Carlson. Then I've got somebody else I haven't seen. Jeff says, I was offered the 103, 107 for the 101 and a third IDP league. So
So the third's
10,
in 2026.
yeah, exactly. So 103 and 107 for the 101 and the 26th third.
Well, then you got the 101. They're trying to get Travis Hunter.
Says 10 team, 1 QB, and also has the 105 and 106. Jeff does.
I mean, so they did say that, Travis, I think it was Sleeper, said that Travis Hunter's points would be counted for both offense and defense. So obviously the person wants to get
Yeah.
Travis Hunter from everything. I don't play in any IDP leagues anymore. So this is going to be about as far of IDP knowledge as I can give you. Sorry. Um, yeah, so he's going to be a cheat code. He's the 101 over you know, Ashton Genty in IDP leagues. So you have to consider, do I think it's a bad deal? No. Do you want to miss out on Travis Hunter is the question you have to ask. But he also what other picks did he say he had too?
He has the 105 and 106 as well. So let's say it goes Hunter and Genty, 101, 102, in whatever order. You'd have the 103, 5, 6, and 7.
So you're gonna get like Omar and Hampton there.
Yeah, exactly. You're getting Hampton, and then at 107, you're getting, like, who knows, maybe it's Tet, or Judkins, Henderson, something like that. It's not terrible. I just don't know how nuked, like you said with the IDP. I don't know how nuked like Hunter is in that kind of situation.
See, I'm almost okay making this trade. I do feel like Travis Hunter is going to play some defense. I don't know if it's going to be enough to necessarily, what if that defense is one tackle and one pass deflection, right?
Hmm.
Like, is that really worth it then? So if your wide receiver room looks good and you don't need a Travis Hunter and you need some running backs, you always need running backs, in my opinion, right? I just feel like I can never have enough. I don't hate making the trade. And there could be games where he doesn't play a single snap on defense, too. So that quote unquote cheat code could turn into him just being 95% of the time a wide receiver. I believe after the draft, Lee and Combs said that they were going to focus on him being primarily a wide receiver with some defense
Right.
sprinkled in. So do with that what you will. If it's me, I'm probably taking the trade, drafting Omari and Hampton, getting some other guys I like in there as well.
Yeah, I think I'm good with it too. It's a good offer. 103 and 107 isn't anything
And
to
you
sneeze
got the
at,
the
and you have the
106.
5 and
I
6.
mean, yeah, I like the deal. I mean, look, and the guy really wants to take a swing, and he really wants that 101. Yeah, I don't hate
Yeah.
it.
Yep. What time we got? It's 9:33. We've been going for 55 minutes, haven't addressed the crowd. We do have 296 eyeballs watching.
Awesome.
Mike, pitch yourself. Pitch yourself. We're not hopping off yet, but I don't want to forget. Oh, and you said you have a website coming, huh? This week, did you say? That's exciting, man. Congrats.
Yeah, hopefully this week our web developer, him and his entire family got the stomach bug, so
Lovely.
he's been a little delayed, and he's all apologetic, and it's like, "Hey, man, you're good."
If anybody's had this stomach bug, you don't gotta apologize for shit. Pun intended.
Somehow around Thanksgiving, my wife and daughter got the stomach bug, and I didn't.
Good for you. Good for you. Strong like bull.
No, I it looked like the pandemic in here. I had a mask on. I'm taking trash out with rubber gloves on. They're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't want what you got. I'm good." Yeah, so website should be releasing this week. We're working on some articles. I'm gonna be writing an article tomorrow. Hopefully that'll come up. We're gonna have rankings. We're gonna have basically everything that we used to do in our rookie draft guide will be on the website. You have links to everything like that. You could buy merch. You could buy this cool shirt that our man Derek designed for us,
That is sweet.
kind of reminiscent of the old MTV design there when they
Yeah,
used to play
yeah.
music. So that's going to be launching. We got our Patreon, patreon.com/Dynasty Rewind. Probably by the end of the year, we will be shifting that to behind the paywall on the website. Because if anyone has a Patreon, Patreon takes a lot of money out of your pocket when you transfer money over. And then you could just listen to us wherever podcasts are found. If there's ever a podcast platform that you prefer and we're not on it, you could DM me at Rewind CEO. And yeah, I will try to get my podcast on there. I've done that before for people. Like, hey, man, I listened to Deezer and you guys aren't on there. And I was like, all right, coming right up. So
On Deezer, yeah. I haven't heard of Deezer.
I never heard of it, but I was like, well, here you go. One person that listens to us on Deezer. So but yeah, so anything, we do roster reviews too. We kind of took a step back from that because of the whole website thing. So we will be doing those again soon. We'll be lowering the pricing on that. We had it higher because we just had so many come in, we couldn't keep up with it. So we
Right.
just raised the price to get it to like a good
Sure.
baseline. That's going to be coming back down too. So, and also, you know what? If you just want bonus podcasts, but you don't want to join the Patreon, you can get our bonus podcasts on Spotify. All the bonus podcasts we put up for $2.99 a month.
There you
So
go.
you'll get at least 4 extra pods a month. With the draft we've been doing, Nate and I have been doing 2 a week. So yeah, for
Yeah,
$3.
that's
It's a good deal.
valuable. $3 a month for extra pods. I think that's fair value. I think
Yeah.
that's fair value there. Good shit. All right, let's go to this from say this name.
Zephyrica.
Zafrika.
Zephrika, yeah. There you go.
You probably nailed it. I don't know. Plays in a good format here. A 14-team Superflex start, 10 half PPR, full PPR for the tight ends. Has May and Penix at quarterback, Bijan, Charbonnet at running back, Rice, Olave, Kirk, Pittman, and what is TMCB?
Trey McBride.
Trey McBride.
I'm
Nice.
thinking.
Nice. Yes. Yes. Because there's going to be a tight end there. Yep. And Trey McBride traded the 102 for JSN. and then traded the 113, a late 26 first, a mid 26 second, and the I'm sorry, traded the 113, a late 26 first, a 26 second for the 106 to grab Travion Henderson. Thoughts? It's a half PPR, 14 team, start 10.
Yeah, I mean, the 102 for JSN almost feels like an overpay, but I think his value's so high right now, that's probably what you have to pay to get
That's
him. I
his
recommend.
price. Yeah.
I think he's gonna smash this year, man. Yeah, I really think he is. And the 113, 26 late first, and a 26 mid second for the 106 to get Henderson. I mean, these are all late picks. Yeah. I mean, one of those things where, again, looks like an overpay just looking at it at first. But to get him to get back up there, especially in a league like this is pretty much what you're going to have to pay. And really, outside of Bijan, like Charbonnet's a nice player, but he has never gotten the run that I think we all expected him to get out there in Seattle. Honestly.
No, no.
So,
Yeah, I'm good with it as well. Maybe next time in a 14 team start 10, don't do a 3-for-1.
yeah,
But
you always want to get something back.
yeah, just something, even if it's just ask for the third. Just get the third. But yeah, in a half PPR, fine with it. And it's all 26 capital. And it seems like it's a active league. So you can always make more moves. So yeah, fine with moving that to get the 106. Trayvon Henderson should be he should be a stud. He's a 3-down back. And apparently they don't like Ramondre and Antonio Gibson if they're drafting a second round running back.
Yeah.
I don't even think they were like thought to be taking an early running back, were they? Like was that talk the whole time that the Patriots were going to be drafting one of the better running backs?
Not
I
that
don't
I
recall all the
remember.
Shador Sanders talk. Who
No.
knows?
I really hope we don't get something like that again next year. And it's like I get the hype and everything like that, but it kind of dilutes the rest of the draft for me, you know.
Mhm.
And I think part of the problem too was they drafted Dylan Gabriel, and then 2 rounds later they draft Sanders. It's like, what are you doing? If they would have just flipped those 2 picks, nobody would have been throwing a fit about it, you know. But
Okay,
what's next?
we got this cleared up. I wanted to make sure we cleared this up. It's O'Maui.
Okay.
Thank you for clearing that up. Wait, did he answer? O'Maui didn't answer what the freaking avatar is.
It's
Damn
Chewbacca
you.
doing something.
This says I'm not feeling any of the players in the 112, 202 range. Figured really like the Ohio State running backs in their situation. I could smash Cam Ward at the 104 if he falls. He's QB needy. Okay, so
Okay.
yeah, getting that makes sense if you're getting up into a spot where you potentially need a quarterback. If Cam Ward falls there, then that makes total sense.
Yeah, I don't hate it. And if Cam Ward doesn't fall and you really need a quarterback, you could try to move the 104 for a quarterback.
You got it. Okay, we're gonna do one more here and then go bye. Let's go to. I don't want to screw anybody by passing. People will be like, "Shit, you missed me. I was next." Here is now we got to go to Keegan. So this is a non-tight end premium league, 12 teams, start 11. Kmet is my starting tight end.
Oh, I think you got muted or cut off. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, while you're figuring that out, you want me to read this? Okay. So it's a non-tight end premium league, 12 team start 11. Kmet is my starting tight end. Do I just keep him? I have the 101, 103, 106, 108, 109, 110. First of all, Keegan, kudos to you for making some moves to get all those picks, man. That's impressive. I think at this point you may have to just keep him right now. His value is probably going to be too low where you don't want to move on. But the good thing is at one of those picks, you could take your quarterback, or sorry, your tight end of preference, be it Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland. I do think Cole Kmet's good enough to possibly get some receptions early in the season. Right now on our lads, they do have Colston Loveland as a starting tight end. The NFL's depth charts do not have to be official until August. So I use our lads throughout the offseason. They have pretty up to date stuff. But obviously, those things could change. Now, if somebody gives you a good offer for Komet, if somebody's really high on him, or if they draft Loveland and they want the Komet handcuff, I don't know, man. You got some problems over there with your audio. It happens. I get it. Yeah, for right now, I just keep him, probably draft one of these young tight ends, or maybe see if you could bundle up some of these picks. And can you make a move for a guy like Trey McBride? What do your other picks look like? Can you get Mason Taylor? Can you get Gunnar Helm? Can you get Terrence Ferguson? He's not going to help you this year, but I think next year he's going to smash. So, just one of those things. Any luck on the audio over there? No, nothing. So, but Keegan, that's what I would do right now with Cole Kmet, because I think his value is just devalued, unfortunately. Great move for the NFL, not a great move for fantasy. But man, we're going to have to get you an upgraded audio system. Did you go into the settings gear on StreamYard? Make sure that everything was set up? Yeah, I don't know. Do we want to wrap it up here? All right. I think he's hopping out and coming back in. Let's see. I can scroll through some comments here. What do we got?
Isn't that great? It's like, oh, a big. Can you hear me?
I couldn't hear a word you were saying.
That
No,
is so. That is. Can you hear me now?
I can hear
Obviously.
you now. Yes.
That is so freaking bonkers, man. It's like I looked at my like adapter thing over here incorrectly, and it was like, "Peace, biatch."
We're gonna have to upgrade your microphone at some point. How's that sound? So it doesn't do that to you again.
Oh, that would be nice. No, thanks for holding me up there. Did you answer this whole thing, I guess?
Well, I said I'm probably just keeping Cole Kmet right now. I don't know what his value is going to be, and he's got a good amount of draft picks where he could draft a starting tight end, even with the non-tight end premium. If Tyler Warren falls to the 109, 110, 108 around there, I have no problem taking him.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, and I did list some other tight ends. I don't know what the rest of his picks look like. There's some other guys in like second and third round he could take too. Also, I heard I was not a big Elijah Arroyo fan coming into the draft. Great straight line speed, not a lot agility wise left and right. But I heard that he's going to be working at X receiver in Seattle a little bit. My co-host Nate told me that. So Elijah Arroyo is a guy to keep your eye on too.
Yeah, I definitely grabbed a couple of him for sure. He seems like he's getting some steam and yeah, and has a chance to be more than just a boring ass inline tight end.
For sure.
Is yeah, exactly like what Nate was telling you. Maybe I was reading something that Nate wrote. Who knows? Cash Carter says user error Clay. I guess so. I'm gonna Gronk spike this this headset after this stream, but no, it's good good time to end it anyway. Mike, you're the man. You can find him, Rewind CEO, on the X machine, and the has that website coming. But would you like to say bye to the crowd? Thanks for joining, dude. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you everybody for coming and hanging out with us tonight. You can find me on, I guess, X. I still call it Twitter because I'm old. Sorry, I'm in my 40s now.
Oh, me too.
It's don't change things on me, Elon. Come on, man. Yeah, find me there. Hey, you know what? I know I said we got the website coming. That's free. I talked about Patreon. There's ways to support for free too. Same with you. YouTube, be a sub, hit that like,
man.
Listen on Spotify. We use Spotify for podcasters. You listen on there. We get a couple bucks back from Spotify. That's all free. 5-star review somewhere for me for Dynasty Trades in 5. That always helps us out.
Sounds good, man. Well, thanks for everybody who joined. Still have 280 eyeballs in here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I will end this stream. We'll see you next time. Cheers.